If you don't have a good sales process, you're never going to be able to hand off sales. You're also not going to increase your revenue as quick as you can because you're never going to know what's stopping where throughout the sales cycle. In this video, I'm going to show you a sales process that's going to be the first steps to enabling you to step out of sales. It's also going to help you increase your revenue because you'll be able to track and measure how and where deals are falling out of the pipeline. So it sounds really obvious, but a lot of people that I've worked with don't actually have one. They have a sort of process in their head, often the founder's head, that they'll go through. They have a long to-do list, but the process lacks. So stage one is leads. Leads convert to deals. Any CRM will have this standardized. If you are small, you don't need a CRM to start. Like I've seen companies running up to about 7 million in revenue on a spreadsheet. A lot of people building their own CRMs nowadays. And then you've got obviously larger organizations spending tens of millions of pounds a year on high-end CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot and things like that. Stage two is a discovery. This is so important. I'm going to do another video that dives really deep into discovery calls and how you should set them up and how you go about them and scripts and questions and things like that. But a lot of sales are won and lost on discovery calls. It's the first window into an organization that most potential clients get. So you really, really, really want to make sure that you absolutely nail your discovery calls because it's so costly to do all that lead generation work. Define your offer, define your ICP, to drive people to a discovery call, only to sort of fluff the discovery call and lose it at that early stage. Stage three is qualified or qualification. Now, qualification criteria, there are loads of standard ones, medic, BANT, and all of that. In reality, they massively differ depending on the size of your pipeline. Because you might have a really successful year and a great pipeline and be like, we're not doing any projects under 50K. And then a bunch of things fall off and you're not going to make next month's numbers and you suddenly start taking on a bunch of projects for less than 50K. Now, don't be afraid of varying your qualification criteria as your business is in different positions, as it grows in different ways. You definitely section this out. So if you're trying to enter a new market and you need case studies and things like that, you would drop the qualification criteria so it's not the same as where you are already successfully playing. And generally as a broad rule, the more successful you get, the higher your qualification criteria are going to be. Some organizations won't blind bid a government tender or a tender of any sort unless they've got a really deep relationship with that organisation. Others, I've seen win £9 million contracts off cold tenders. All depends what's right for your organisation and how it fits the skills you have within that sales and marketing and bid team and things like that as well. The proposal. This is a really important stage, but maybe not as important as what you think. A lot of people, when they're going from discovery calls and through qualification, on the client side, they really just want to know what the potential price is going to be. They don't actually care about all the details in the proposal. So a lot of things, one of the common things I do with my clients is switch from creating proposals every time someone's potentially interested in something to just a really nice, concise email back that just talks about an overview of your services, but what the price is. Because most people just want to know the price. They can take that email or they can take that value to their board meeting, to whoever they need to get sign off from, without you having to spend 2 to 4 hours on a full-blown proposal. Now, once they've got that sign off internally for the value, then you can go and do a proposal. You might just skip proposal altogether and just go straight to a statement of work. Depends what it is and how you work, really. Stage 5 is the negotiation. So at this stage, you may or may not have done a proposal. You might be you might just go from discovery to price to negotiation. That happens quite a lot, especially on deals under 100K, I would say. But here we're going to go into negotiation a bit in another video because it's again another one that we want to take a bit of a deep dive on. But getting good at negotiation, people can be really good. I've seen it a lot of times where people are good salespeople. They're good business people and entrepreneurs. They're good at defining offers, who their target market is through their experience and things like that. Then they're actually good at the sales process as well. And then they drop like 20 to 30% of their potential profit all at negotiation because they weren't well prepared for the questions that were going to get asked, like this is too expensive or I need to go and get sign off and things like that. But we'll talk about that in more depth in another video. And then stage 6 is close and onboarding. And there's a reason these two are together. So I've seen many people close and then it sort of goes into a bit of an abyss. And like you go off and talk to procurement maybe, or their legal team, but the actual client that needs the work done isn't in those conversations and isn't responded to. The other area that a lot of services businesses get wrong with closing onboarding is they don't have the super slick transition from their sales team to their delivery team. It's so important because your client has probably gone to bat for you quite a lot throughout this whole sales process when you think about who they are. And for you to sort of, the worst salespeople close the deal and then never speak to the client again. The best ones, as they're closing the deal, go and work with their onboarding team. And when I say onboarding team, it might be just the people doing the delivery. Like, it's not actually a set out team in many organizations. So you just go and find the actual people that are going to be delivering that work. You book a 45-minute meeting with them, really structured, and you take them through all the history, all the key points from the sale, who all the key players are, what they care about, what they don't care about, what drives them nuts, what they get really excited about, what type of organization they are. And then even the small things, like if they've got to go to site, where are the best hotels, where are the best trains, what have you got to look out for and things like that. Because you'll make their life so much easier. Because otherwise all they're going to do is book a meeting with the people that you've just spent maybe 1 to 6 months talking to throughout the sales process and ask them all these really basic questions. And then the first thing that happens is that client gets really annoyed. He's like, I've already told David all of this. Why are you asking me that question? And that's the first time the delivery team that might be working with them for the next 2 years has met that client, and it's already off to a really bad start. So that's why close and onboarding go together, and why they're both really important to get right. As a salesperson, still your responsibility for the whole time they're doing delivery because you sold the thing. What we're going to do next is we're going to dive into some of the areas of this sales process that are really important, like discovery and negotiation, and we'll see you on that next video.